man and a woman sit near each other, and they do not long at this world to be older or younger, nor born in any other nation or time or place. They are content to be where they are, talking or not talking. Their breaths together feed someone whom we do not know. The man sees the way his fingers. He sees her hand close around a book she hands to him. They obey a third body that they share in common. They have made a promise to love that body. Age may come, parting may come, death will come. A man and a woman sit near each other. As they breathe, they feed someone we do not know, someone we know of, who we have never seen.
Dear theater goers, welcome. How lovely to see you. I'm here to talk to you about the theater and why we all leave our homes to come see it, assuming we have. But you have left your homes and you're here, so welcome. Now I have written down some comments about the theater for you, if I can just find them. Let's see. Well, I can't find my notes, so I'll just have to do without them. Drama. Let's begin with etymology, shall we? Etymology, which is the origin of the word. The word drama comes from the Greek word drawn, which means to do, which connects with the English word drain, meaning to exhaust one totally, and with the modern pharmaceutical sedating tablet, Dramamine, which is used for air sickness or seasickness or for a general sense of nausea while traveling. But Mr. Sorkin and I haven't done much traveling. Maybe after he dies, I'll go somewhere. We go to the drama seeking the metaphorical Dramamine that will cure us of our nausea of life. Of course, sometimes the drama itself causes nausea, and then we're sorry we went. Especially if it uses the F word and lasts over 4 hours. Now, I don't mind a leisurely play, but by 10:30, I want to leave and go to sleep. Secondly, we have the word theater, derived from the Greek word theastai, which means to view. And thirdly, we have the Greek god Dionysus, the god of wine and revelry, but also the father of modern drama as we know it. The Greeks went to the theater in the open air, just like the late and wonderful Joseph Pack used to make us see Shakespeare. Shakespeare's language is terribly difficult for us to understand of the modern age. But how much easier when there's a cool breeze and it's for free. If it's hot and I have to pay, then I don't much like Shakespeare. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. He's a brilliant writer, and I look forward to seeing all 750 of his plays. Although perhaps not in this lifetime. But back to the Greeks. They went to the open-air theater expecting the drama to evoke terror and pity. Nowadays, we have enough of that in our own lives, so rather than going to the theater looking for terror, we go looking for slight irritation. And rather than looking for the theater to evoke pity, we merely look for a generalized sense of identification, such as, Evita was a woman, I am a woman. Sweetie Todd was a barber, I go to the hairdresser. Fosca in Passion should have those moles removed. And I know a good dermatologist. That sort of thing. I know that seeing Greek drama nowadays, even when Helen Mirren is in it, it really rather baffles me. It's so very different from my own life. My life with Mr. Sorkin is not something that Helen Mirren would want to star in, even on PBS. But back to my theme, drama, from the Greek word drawn. When we leave the drama, we return to our homes feeling drained. And if it's been a good night at the theater, we leave feeling slightly irritated and feeling identification with Evita or Fosca or that poor Mormon woman in Angels in America. And so drained, we get into our nightgowns, we adjust the bedroom from light to darkness, we climb into bed next to Mr. Sorkin, and we fall into a deep REM sleep, dreaming God knows what mysterious messages from our teeming unconscious. And then in the morning, we awake to the new day, the light and the burgeoning possibilities. Light. Plants need light to grow. Might people need art to grow? It's possible. But there is some connection between theater and light and people and plants that I am striving to articulate. The text of the play is the light. The actors help put it all together, and we are the plants in the audience. Plants, light, theater, art. I feel this sudden interconnection with everything that is making me dizzy. And Dramamine is good for dizziness. Now to wrap up. Dear theater goers, I hope you enjoy this evening. I'm not quite sure what you're going to see, but whatever it is, I'm sure it will be splendid. And if you should find yourselves in Connecticut, please drop in to see Mr. Sorkin and me. Oh, he likes to be called first, but I love to be surprised. So just ring the doorbell and we'll have cocktails. And I hope you have enjoyed my humbly offered comments on the drama. I have certainly enjoyed speaking with you.
woman.
What woman?
The one from your writing group from a while back. Francine Louise Schmidt.
What about her?
She died
Where?
at home.
Let me see that. Oh, it is Francine. Francine Louise Schmidt died peacefully at home Saturday, surrounded by her family. Oh, I didn't even know she was sick. Huh. That is so tragic.
Cancer.
Her obituary. It's so dull.
That's no way to talk about the dead.
I'm talking about the living. How could they do that? She has no chance to do a rewrite. And this photo.
That looks like how I remember her.
Well, not at her best. She fixed up much better than that. This photo was taken in direct sunlight in the middle of the day. Look at her wrinkles. There must have been other pictures. Look, you can see someone else's shoulder.
Her husband, I bet. Maybe it was the only one he could find on the spur of the moment.
She died peacefully at home, surrounded by her family. While she was lingering, he couldn't look around for a better picture.
Maybe he was tending to her.
100,000 people will see this obituary and think, Francine Louise Schmidt, that's what she looked like.
She did look like that. It's a photograph. Anyway, the people who know her will think, well, that's not Francine at her best. And the people who don't know her won't care.
She once wrote a short story in which every sentence began with a different letter, in alphabetical order. Do you know how hard that is? Now she's frozen forever as a woman with bad skin and a dull life. She doesn't want to be remembered that way.
She's dead.
She was a vibrant woman, sexy. This doesn't do her justice. Francine loved reading and hiking and was a deacon in her church. Please.
What's wrong with that?
Everybody loves reading. That's like saying Francie loved sitting. At least they could have mentioned what kinds of books. Specificity. Every writer knows that. Francie liked both Sylvia Plath and New Age self-help. She once had a correspondence with Deepak Chopra. They could have mentioned that at least.
A correspondence?
Wrote back.
That is not a correspondence.
My point is, there were things about Francie that were a lot more complex and interesting than what they've written here. I bet she had a rich fantasy life.
You can't write about someone's fantasy life in an obituary.
Oh no, I didn't even notice this before. Francie had less faults than anyone we knew.
It's okay to exaggerate a little.
Less faults? Never use less when referring to more than one item. They put a grammatical error in her obituary.
Give them a break, Kenny. They were grieving.
Promise me that when you write my obituary, you won't make any grammatical or syntactical errors.
I can't promise that.
Well, have Rachel proofread it. Promise me you'll have Rachel proofread it.
Jeez.
Well, what will you say about me?
I'm sure I'll die before you.
But if you don't,
I plan to die before
well, don't say Penny loved reading. Say Penny loved social commentary and the works of Thomas Pynchon. Say Penny played the cello.
you. But that's not true.
Yes, it is.
You haven't touched the cello since we got married. It's been sitting in the basement for 15 years.
Played the cello. And where did I graduate from college?
Purdue?
And
What do you mean?
my master's.
Oh, right.
You would have forgotten to mention my master's?
It was before we got married.
That's exactly
exactly what I'm afraid of. How could you forget my masters?
You were married to James then. I can't remember everything.
It's my masters. People will read my obituary and think I only got an undergraduate degree.
So what? You'll be dead.
James would have remembered to include the masters.
Ask James to write your obituary then.
Maybe I will.
Fine.
He probably knew me better anyway. And that poem I had published in Modern Haiku,
What about it?
you should mention it.
I'll make a list. Cello, poem, Thomas Pynchon, masters, anything else.
You're not taking me seriously.
I'm making a list.
You're writing it on the newspaper.
I'll clip it out and save it.
It'll turn yellow and disintegrate.
So will your obituary.
And if I die in some weird way, don't put that in the obituary. That is just like me. I'll probably get my scarf caught in a power window and strangled to death. Just say, died unexpectedly.
You're not going to die like that.
How do you know?
Do we have to talk about this? Anyway, I'm sure I'll die before you. I've got cardiovascular disease all over my family.
Don't say that.
It's true.
I don't want you to die before me. I can't bear the thought of it. I would just come back to this house and not know what to do with myself.
You could play the cello.
I'm serious.
You'll be fine.
There's a picture of me you took last year in Hawaii. I want that picture for my obituary.
What if you die when you're 90?
I still want that picture. It was really good lighting, kind of washed out. I could have been 30 in that picture.
Then it really doesn't look like you.
I want to be remembered that way.
Even if it doesn't look like you?
I don't want the kids and then their kids and then their kids to remember me wrong. Oh, all those old pictures when I had Farrah Fawcett hair.
But that was you.
I have 2 pictures of my grandmother. In one, she apparently forgot to comb her hair. And in the other, she's walking down some street in Greensboro, and for some reason, somebody snaps a photo of her. She has this kind of grim look on her face. And I'm not even sure she was wearing her dentures. I have no idea why those 2 pictures survived. Why those 2 pictures and not 2 others?
When you start wearing dentures, I'll stop taking pictures.
I've got to go through this house right now and get rid of all the pictures I don't like. Just so you won't be tempted. Every last one of them. Because I can see you can't be trusted.
Fine, get rid of them.
I'm going to.
Fine.
Because sometimes you're totally oblivious.
I said fine, make a file. Call it Penny's obituary. Put a glam shot in it, put a resume in it, make up a resume, I don't care. And take the whole thing to the fridge.
Well, you don't need to get testy.
No, you know what I'm actually going to write in your obituary? Penny was a shallow woman who wanted you to think that she was prettier and smarter than she was.
Bill.
Really, Penny? I can't believe you.
Well, here's what I'm going to write. Bill was a man who never really knew his wife.
That's not true.
What was my favorite musical group?
The Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones.
You told me that once.
I just said that when we were dating because you said they were your favorite.
I never said that. That was probably James.
Oh, please. James was a Doors fan. What I'm talking about is an accurate portrayal. At the end of your life, you've got this one chance to sum it all up, to say, this is me, this is my life.
You know what I hope you'll say about me? Bill was a decent guy.
That's it?
Yep.
Well, what about your PhD?
I don't care.
You're the president of the State Chemical Society.
So, it's just a society. Who said an obituary is supposed to be a list? Why not a moment? One moment from your life when the sun was shining and you were riding your bike, and the air smelled like honeysuckle. I heard this German man being interviewed today on the radio. His English was good, but not perfect, you know. And the interviewer asked him something, what he thought about his last film, and he said, I feel very content. When, of course, what he meant was content. We can't tell the difference. That's the problem with the world.
Now you're sounding like Deepak Chopra.
Just put, Bill was a decent guy.
You are a decent guy. That's why I love you.
And I love you because you can make me laugh, even when I've had a rotten day. That's how I'll remember you.
I'm talking about how everyone else will remember me. How the world will remember me.
The world won't remember you, Penny. And that's okay.
I got my master's at Boston University.
I thought it was Northwestern.
Just checking.
Dear Kenneth Blake, I saw you this afternoon on television talk show, and I wanted to say I wish you best of luck in your new home. You seem like a nice man.
This is the best I can do, then. This is the best I can do. But I tell you, I'm not going to sleep with that bunch of beggars and drug addicts.
I hope you stop drinking and smoking and learn to breathe fresh air and have new start.
Telling me when to sleep and how to comb my hair and wash my butt and when to snore. And who the hell are they, huh? Bunch of panhandlers trying to steal my cigarettes?
You say you are looking to meet new wife in country and maybe pretty one with blonde hair.
Well, I never begged for nothing my whole life, you hear?
Maybe we can write letters and be friends.
And I'll tell you another thing. I'm not a slave. And the only time anyone ever wants something from me around here is when they want something from me.
Dear Kenneth Blake, I hope you are doing well. I did not hear from you, and I wonder if you got my last letter.
You expect me to wake up at the crack of dawn after sleeping with this bunch of losers, work all day, and pay me next to nothing?
Maybe you did not. I hope you are learning to plant and getting along with other people who have no homes and who are also learning to plant. Have you met any nice friends?
To grow these damn vegetables like they're a religion because they don't have any damn chemicals on them?
Dear Kenneth Blake,
And you charge a fortune and sell them to a bunch of long hairs and yuppies who pay quintuple the price because they don't want any toxins in their food.
my letters don't get returned, so I hope you are reading them and are too busy to write.
While they go out into the street and breathe in more toxins than they could fit on all the organic tomatoes that they could eat in 20 years. And you do this all because you say you've got a pact with Mother Earth.
In house where I work, they have a terrace with plants and flowers, and I think about you. I watched you on show while I ironed, and was sad you had to live in a train tunnel for so long, and then they made you leave. When I was grown, we had house, and they made us leave. I'm glad they have good program to teach you to be farmer.
And now you tell me that I can't keep my rabbit in the damn communal sleeping room because those stinking bums don't like the smell? All because I won't give the rabbit a shower?
How does your rabbit like it there?
Well, I ain't gonna dump her, okay? Where I goes, she goes.
P.S. When I saw your face, I think you have look in your eyes that I understand.
I would leave here if I could, but I can't because you don't pay me enough damn money. Even Mr. Green Jeans made enough money.
Dear Kenneth Blake, do you like being on farm? Do you work too hard, maybe?
I've got nowhere to go and no way to get there.
Do your eyes look different now that you live in country? Is it hard to get along with people after being alone for so long? Is it different to have home after not having one?
Working like a dog for a do-good for the homeless organic hippie.
Do you wish you had family? Have you found wife?
Think you can take a bunch of drug addicts and drunks, stick them on a farm,
Is it lonely to be in faraway place?
and they'll turn into a do-good organic hippie like you?
I think about your face, and I wonder if you wonder about me. Maybe we will never meet, but at least there's someone who knows how I feel.
I may not be able to leave here, but me and my rabbit will not sleep with those smelly animal-hating bums, okay? You say you got it packed with Mother Earth. Well, she gave birth to my rabbit, and she don't mind the smell, okay?
Dear Kenneth Blake, you have look in your eyes I know.
Dear Tina, thanks for your letters. Things here stink. I don't know how to keep doing this, and I don't know what else to do. They got me planting these guru tomatoes all day. My feet are so tired they're gonna drop off. Keep writing if you like. It's nice to get to know you. They want me to give up my rabbit, but I won't. Maybe someday we could meet.
Kenneth, we can. Kenneth,
Yeah.
Tina Sen.
You're what?
Tina Sen.
Oh.
You remember?
Uh.
I come to see with you.
What?
I come to see you.
Oh, well, I'm not much to look at, and,
You said maybe we could meet, and I thought maybe we could. I brought you some shoes and some food for your rabbit.
some kind of charity? Is that it? Some sort of pen pal united way? Well, I don't take charity.
No, from me. A present from me.
Huh?
A gift, like a birthday.
Oh, well, you got the wrong guy. I ain't got no birthday.
See?
Look, I don't know what to say.
You can say thank you,
Yeah, right. Thank you.
and you can say, please let's talk, or you say, I don't wish to see you, and I go.
Now, how did you get here?
I walk.
From New York?
No, I take the bus.
And from the bus stop?
I walk.
How long did that take you?
10 hours.
Wow. Look, I'm a little, what made you come here? I can't imagine you were just in the neighborhood. You didn't come here for some fresh organic air, huh?
No.
No.
Can it?
Listen, I'm doing something important here. I wrote you that, but I didn't. See, I'm busy.
I give myself to you, and I wonder if you give yourself to me.
What?
There's no one to choose for me, and I saw you, and you said you want a wife, and I want to be your wife, but I don't have blonde hair.
What?
If you want me, do you think you might want me?
Well,
I will be good wife.
Well, we just don't do it like that. You don't just hop on a bus and that's not how we do it. Maybe that's how you do it where you're from. Where are you from?
Cambodia.
Well, that's a long way from here, and this isn't, okay? We take our time here.
How old are you?
40?
That's time enough, don't you think?
Well, what about your mother?
Dead.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but that's still,
At home, it will be different. I would never be so bold. I will always be modest, but this is America, and they say on talk shows, if a horse gallops by your house, you must jump on it or it will gallop away without you.
What?
Maybe we can go inside to your house and talk more?
This is my house.
This?
This is where I sleep.
Outside?
It's a lot better than in there with those creeps. And I can keep bugs out here with me. Suits me fine. I don't need much. Plenty of fresh air out here.
Oh,
You wouldn't believe some of the things that go on around here. I mean, you just wouldn't believe it.
I would believe.
Oh. I guess that's it. Maybe you were looking for a nice home in the country. I guess maybe that's what this was. Well, I ain't got that, and I ain't got a white picket fence, and I ain't got a dog named Spot, and there's no galloping horses around here, just me and a rabbit and a barbed wire fence to keep out the creeps. So, I'm not your ticket for a better life. I guess you can take the next bus out.
Is it private here?
Believe me, no one comes out to where I am. Popular I ain't. I guess you can see why. What are you doing?
I think that you sit down now, and we stay here together in your house. Your feet hurt?
Does a rabbit shit on a farm? Yeah.
Then you sit here, and maybe we eat something for lunch, and then we can
Okay,
go.
oh boy. Look, I mean, what you just said, I mean, who said that you could just come here and,
If your feet hurt, it's good to sit and take off your shoes.
well,
I see you do not want to. You think, what is this crazy? A crazy lady? Why would I do that? I am afraid of this crazy lady I do not even know. But what can be bad, huh? What is there for you to lose? You don't have to want to get married. I'm just asking you to come here, and we say words to each other, and we see which words come out. I see you look around. Sometimes you look around so much, you don't see what is next to you. I see you almost look at me. You can look at me. I understand hurting feet.
oh yeah?
Yeah. You ask why I came here? Well, I learned that life is short and that in this country you have to go for it or it's gone. But first, you have to sit and take off your shoes, and then we see, okay?
Lady, if I sit next to you and take off these shoes, you're gonna want to get away from me so fast, you're not gonna need a bus to get back to the car, okay? My feet stink. I mean, they stink.
I decide that.
Look, my feet are like a hot foot. Do you know what that is? Like in a cartoon, you ever see that? You know, they take a match and light it and stick it on your foot and it burns. I got 5 of those, 1 on each toe, and they don't go out. I mean, it's kind of like rotten, burning foot flesh. Not too nice, so no, I don't think so.
Maybe if you put them in ground, it's cooler.
No amount of organic dirt is going to help me.
Maybe not, but you do it anyway.
Oh?
Maybe if we think things aren't going to work, sometimes we do it anyway. You say Cambodia is far from here, but they write about it in New York Times. And do you know what they write about now? They had elections this year, and this country is trying to make peace there. How do they think they can do that? Now, how do they think they can do that? I lose my family, my home, my country. I come here and I see man on TV. And he has eyes of my father when they took him away. I watch him and I feel love for this man. This man I don't know. This man I am afraid will think I am crazy if I tell him. I write him many letters. He writes me one back. I take bus and I find him. And I see he does have those eyes. I can see. He has soul like my family. And he doesn't smile when he look at me, and he doesn't want the gifts I bring. And he says he has no home, and I am afraid, and I do it anyway. I ask him to take off his shoes, and when he says no, I am again afraid. And I think it will not work. But I know what I see. Even if he doesn't, even if he will never know, I know. And I say, tell Kenneth Blake. I say it anyway. If your feet hurt, just take off your shoes and put them in dirt. I ask for nothing else. Just that.
I'm not talking about marrying you. I'm not good at talking. I don't get along with people when I talk. How about you? How are your feet?
No. My eyes. My eyes.
What?
They cry. Sometimes I can barely see.
Oh,
Look, see, they cry.
Tina.
Look, I cry. Even if I'm happy, I cry.
Tina,
Oh, my tears. They water your feet.
oh. Yeah, huh.
Is it okay if we just sit here? We just sit in your house. I like your house.
Sure.
I like view and furniture.
Sure.
I've come a long way to get to your house.
Uh-huh.
I brought food.
Oh.
We can sit here. My tears drop onto your feet. And you can see what will grow.
Oh, this house is so cozy. Don't you just adore it, Doug?
It's one of the better ones, yes.
Out of how many?
But wait, I'm figuring.
87. If we don't count those that were too expensive.
Ceramic tile, check.
Just needs a little strong detergent here and there. Oh, aren't these baby clothes adorable? Oh, this is so cute.
It's a solid structure, all right.
Roof was new last year.
Roof, check.
There's
Foundation, no cracks, check.
There's a nice workshop in the garage.
Workshop, check.
Custom cupboards in the kitchen.
Custom cupboard, check.
The extra room by the front door, perfect for my office.
Office, check.
The garage has an extra bay.
Boat storage, check.
That is the biggest laundry room, bigger than our first apartment. I'll put a bulletin board and a family calendar there. Appliances convey. Great house. I like it.
Appliances convey, check.
Look, a place to store your fishing rods.
Storage, check.
Let's buy it. Before somebody else does, let's buy it right now. I want this house.
Let's not move too fast.
Doug, it sounds silly, but this is the house of my dreams.
Well, it's a big investment.
I don't care. I want this house. This is a creme de la creme neighborhood.
Maybe we ought to look some more.
I don't need to look. This is it.
It's an older home. Things go wrong. Let me figure this.
Okay, 87% positive was our agreed upon minimum criteria. This house rates, using your figures, Doug, this house rates at 96.7.
Well, it doesn't have,
What doesn't it have?
well, quantitatively, it's almost perfect.
Good. First thing we've agreed upon in 15 years. Let's make an offer, now.
I've got some unanswered questions.
You've examined this house with a microscope. You still have questions? Doug, what are you doing?
Measuring. Did you know my foot is exactly 12 inches long? Same as Henry VIII. That's why 12 inches is called a foot. Bet you didn't know that, did you? 4, 5, 6. Yes, I think this might work. We put a big refrigerator over there. Oh, real handy.
There's a nice one in the kitchen.
Oh, and there's room there for a nice big sofa to stretch out on. 8, 6, 7. Oh, better yet. There's room for 2 sofas. Don't like to watch football alone.
You're going to watch football in the laundry room?
Don't need a laundry room. Home theater. Entertainment center, over there.
Au contraire. Laundry is one of life's little necessities. There is a room off the dining room for TV.
I know how you women are about dens. You decorate it all nicey nice and put in all the fancy doodads and turn it into a friggin' needlepoint studio where you can't even put your feet up. Oh, no, Mary Ann, that will be my room. All of that stuff has to go first.
And where will we do the laundry? Or isn't there any laundry in your psychological orientation?
We could put a double-decker washer-dryer combo in your office closet.
Laundry in my office closet. A client is tearfully pouring out her life story, and you will traipse through with dirty laundry?
Who said I'd traipse through?
Have you forgotten our agreement? You do the laundry, I do the vacuuming, and that's how we save money for a new house. You got the best part of the deal. No, we will move the laundry down to that end of the room, build a wall there, and make that part the nursery.
The nursery? Mary Ann, is there something you haven't told me? I mean, Mary Ann, are you?
We agreed, didn't we? We move into a house, and then we...
Sure, we agreed, but later. We meant later.
This is later.
I don't think we should rush into this.
Doug, how long have we been married?
15 years. Tomorrow.
That's what I mean. 15 years. That laundry room reminds me that I'm of a certain age. No, I am of that crucial age, 40, and I'm not a mother. I don't want to end up barren and fallow, dried up and lonely like your childless, distant relative. What was her name?
Viola. Can we talk about this later?
Later? Later, Doug, it is always later. I'm tired of later. I want now.
Mary Ann, don't get so excited. It's just a laundry room.
Not just a laundry room. It's a revelation.
A revelation? Like Moses? I mean, we walk into somebody's stinking laundry room and you get a revelation?
It wasn't Moses. It was Paul who had the revelation. Moses had the 10 Commandments. No, it was John. John who had the revelation.
I knew it. It was John.
You thought it was Moses.
Mary Ann, do we have to get into another argument now? Here?
Here. Yes. Here. It all comes clear to me here. Right here. It's all clear. Very clear.
You don't like the laundry room?
The laundry room is perfect. It's a perfect symbol for what's wrong with our marriage.
You don't love me? Because of a laundry room? Because of Moses? John?
That's no ordinary laundry room. That's sacred ground. It's where the epiphany struck. The ghost of Carl Jung dropped a bucket of truth serum on my head. There! Right there.
Isn't that too many metaphors for one thought?
Laundry room, I love you.
So you do like the laundry room?
It's in the laundry room where people's dirty little secrets get pre-scrubbed, cleaned, and inevitably denied. It's where one's missing buttons get replaced. It's where life's little wrinkles get smoothed out. There, right there in that laundry room is where My blind spot met my insight. I suspected it before, but today, my eyes were opened. I finally understand why no house is good enough. The laundry room is the hub of family life. If one has a family. And you, Douglas Jones, never meant to start a family. Doug, I'm leaving.
You're leaving?
You, Doug, leaving you. You can talk to my lawyer.
You just like that all of a sudden?
Goodbye, Doug.
Marianne, you can't. This is the perfect house. Just look at the figures. Marianne, please. Marianne, let's talk. Right here in what you call this sacred space. Let's talk.
What is there to say? It's all been said.
You're the one who believes in talk therapy.
You don't. You've said that 100 times.
Maybe I changed my mind. Go talk. Just go ahead. Talk.
Okay? I want a family. Not a nieces and nephews type family, a children type family. Our children. You want... Doug, what do you want?
I want you, Marianne.
That's not enough.
Wait! You think I haven't thought about it? I have. It's a big responsibility to have children, to bring them up right,
Uh-huh.
do all the things for them they need.
Uh-huh.
Remember their birthdays.
Uh-huh.
And Christmas. And teach them how to pitch and hit a ball. I think, Marianne, I think I'm scared. Scared I won't do it right. My dad didn't do it right, and if I become a father, I want to do it right.
Doug.
Oh, honey, I don't know if I can.
Oh, Doug.
Hey, what time is it? They're supposed to run around midnight. Oh man, this is great, isn't it? I mean, look at this night we've got here. Just, it couldn't be better. Well, actually, I wanted to go a little further up the coast, get away from the lights and the people, but I was afraid we'd miss it. Oh, how are you?
Fine.
Oh, sit down. Sit down. No, is that foam? I can't even tell. I mean, if you can't tell, it most likely isn't them. It'll probably be unmistakable, right? How are you doing? Oh no! Oh no! Oh, you know what I did? I forgot my flashlight. Oh man, how could I be so stupid? I should have brought my flashlight. The flashlight, the silver one. There's
That's
only...
not your flashlight.
Oh, well, whose is it?
It's ours. It's mine too.
Well, of course.
Well, I mean, you kept saying, my flashlight, as if it's somehow just yours. How's that supposed to make me feel?
No, of course. Our flashlight. Yours and mine. Me flashlight and Sue flashlight. Naturally, I just... How could we not think to bring it? I hope the moon stays out. I wonder, do they always run during a full moon? I can't remember if it was full last year. Remember?
Yes.
Are you cold? Do you want my jacket? Man, we should have brought a blanket. Our blanket. Man, this is great, isn't it? I mean, I didn't even think to bring a six-pack. I can't believe I forgot. Man, I'm like a kid. It's amazing I got out of the house with my fly suit. Oh. I wonder if they can, like, hear my talk or feel the vibrations in the sand when we move around, you know?
I'm cold.
Oh, you want my jacket?
It's after 11. Let's go home.
What? Are you kidding? We'd miss it. We just got here. What's the point in coming down here if we just turn around and leave?
There's no point in coming down here.
Right!
That's my point.
That's my point too.
So then let's go.
No, that's not my point. My point is that there's no point in coming if we just go home. Don't you want to see it?
Not especially.
Why not?
I just don't. It's stupid.
Honey, this is a natural phenomenon. I mean, it only happens once a year. This is a great opportunity. And think of the people in Kansas, right? They would have to buy plane tickets and get hotel reservations just to see it. We live 40 minutes away. It's too good to pass up.
Pass what? These little fish swim onto the beach, flop around, and then they die.
Yeah, but that moment on the beach is the highlight of their little lives. All that flopping around is laying eggs, or what you do, spawning or mating, you know? Something like that. This is the big night for these guys. Life's last orgy.
What are you so excited about? This isn't a moon landing we're talking about here. It's fish. It's fish nobody even eats.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's fish who do something that none of the other fish do, right? Like swallows returning to Capistrano, or the lemmings that throw themselves off the cliffs, you know? Something like that. There's a mystery here and magic, a little bit of the unexplainable. I don't see how you can not be interested.
I'm just not.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't get it. The first time we came here to see it, you said it was the best night of your life. And last year, I remember distinctly, you were so excited, you stubbed your toe rushing me out the door and didn't even realize until we got into the car.
Last year, you'll also remember, our shoes got wet. I got sand in my panties. We had a big fight over nothing. And we didn't see the Grahams.
We weren't in a good spot.
Oh, we weren't in a good spot last time either.
We just weren't in a good spot, but this is a much better spot. I got good instincts. Look here. What's that? Is that no. Is that foam? Oh no, it's seaweed. It's seaweed. Oh man, this is great. I mean, I wouldn't miss this for anything. It's just okay. Like think about this. I know you're not interested, but think about this for a minute, all right? Out there, somewhere, there's this huge mass of silver fish, and they're heading this way. They don't know why. We don't know why. It wasn't a decision. They didn't take a vote, you know? No one sent them an invitation or a map, you know? Just some little instinctual time-release firecracker went off in their little bodies, and all as one, they turned and formed a line as long as the California coast, all right? And they just started swimming. They're swimming right now as if it's the only thing that matters. It's single-mindedness with no mind, right? Urgency, that's pure urge. And they don't know what drives them. They don't give it a name or ask it a question. They just turn as one and start that swim that brings them here to this place where we stand for a massive celebration of sex and death. Go, man! Look at this! I'm giving myself goosebumps. Oh, my hairs are popping up. Woo.
That's the wind.
Well, so what do you think?
About what?
What were we just saying?
It's ridiculous.
It certainly is not. It is slightly exaggerated scientific fact.
It's PR. Someone sold you a bill of goods that this big event was going to happen here on the beach.
I'm not the only one, alright? Look at all these people!
Sure, everyone's told the same story. Keeps us all excited, keeps us coming back for more, keeps us thinking that life is going to start any minute now if you can just get in on the right spot.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Well, I'm sorry, but it's still just fish to me.
Carla, can I ask you something? Or don't take this the wrong way. But are you having your period?
Damn it, Boggy! Don't ask me that! Oh, you always ask me that. It's insulting. I hate it.
Well, what's bugging you?
We just have different ideas about what this event was supposed to be like.
There's nothing to it. We come down here, the Grunions arrive, they do their little fish business, we go, ooh, ah! Look at the fish, they go home, we go home.
For heaven's sake, grow up. We're not going to see the Grunions.
Why not?
We never do. Do we? Have we ever?
We missed them twice, that's not ever.
Twice as every time we've tried? That's ever.
We'll see them this year.
No, we won't. It's pointless. It's like waiting up to see Santa Claus. I feel as though my whole life is going to be spent standing on the beach with my eyes wide open and my hands clasped expectantly, waiting for fish to show up. And the fish won't show up.
I thought you wanted to see it.
You don't understand anything I'm trying to say.
No, of course not.
I did want to see it. I always do. I keep thinking this time will be the time, and it never is.
It's just fish, nothing to get traumatized over.
For heaven's sake, this isn't about the fish.
I've been trying to work this backwards, but I can't seem to pinpoint that moment we took a turn for the worse. I mean, you were fine during the phone call from Marge. Dinner was okay. Doing the dishes, no problem. Let's see. I took a shower. You watched the news. You said, "The Grunions are running tonight," and I said, "Great. I feel lucky tonight." Okay, so I'm putting on my jacket. Putting out the animals. We're getting in the car in the garage.
Do you remember the first time we came to see it? It was about 2 years ago, right after we got married. We had a bottle of champagne, but no glasses. You asked me to dance, so we took off our shoes and we popped the cork, and while we were dancing, you said the softest, most intimate things to me, right in my ear, so that I could feel them as much as hear them. And I remember thinking, this is it. At last I'm as happy as I'm supposed to be.
Wait a minute, I got it.
Dancing barefoot in the sand, drinking champagne from the bottle.
It was in the car, right? Driving past the Knickerbocker liquor locker, right? You said, let's get some champagne, and I said, time's a wasted, or something like that, right? Of course, I see it now. You want this to be like the other times, right? That's it, right?
I would rather not remember some things. I'd rather not hope for some things.
Okay. Sure, right, of course. Listen, you want to dance?
No.
You want me to go get some champagne?
No.
Take off our shoes.
No.
What? Do you want me to breathe in your ear?
No.
You want to get married again?
No.
Well, what? You want a divorce?
No.
A vacation?
No.
A new carpet? A poodle? A back rub? Ice cream? A suicide pact? What? What, Carla? What the hell do you want?
I just want something to turn out the way it's supposed to.
Well, welcome to the human race. Right? You think this is what I had in mind? You think that when I proposed, I had this fantasy going that 2 years down the road that we would come to a beach and start yelling at each other over fish? Do you think that there would be times when you'd look at me like I was a used Kleenex? Or that I would look at you and think, holy hell! When is the next flight to Alaska? No! I am just like you. I thought it was going to be all peaches and roses and sand in our toes and the wind in our hair and a fish would always come and the bills would pay themselves and we'd have 3 fat rosy kids and ha ha baby, the joke's on us. Because you know what you get, Carla? Do you know what you get? This.
This what? What is this? This isn't even anything.
Yes, it is.
Oh, right, sure. This is standing on the beach. This is waiting. This is fighting.
Right.
But this isn't anything like I thought anything would be like.
No. I know, me neither.
This is just this. I mean, it includes a lot and everything, but it's not, something else. Do you have any idea what I'm trying to say?
I'm doing the best I can.
I know, Augie. I know that. I do, really. I know you meant this to be special and nice, and it's the full moon and the sand and all, but I just couldn't help thinking about somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe you were with somebody else too.
I didn't say that.
No. I know. But still, I know I don't make you happy.
For heaven's sake. Whatever I'm doing, I'd rather be doing it with you.
Yeah?
Don't be ridiculous. Don't you know that? You're the one who probably wishes you were with someone else. Someone who knew how to enjoy herself and didn't take everything so seriously.
Actually, now that you mention it, no, I don't.
Okay, fine. So we're in the wrong spot, but we're with the right person.
I don't know. It seems like a good spot to me. I mean, look at the view of the moon we've got from here.
Yes, I noticed that. Looks pretty on the water, doesn't it? Big old white moon.
Hey, look what we've got here. A stick of gum.
Aw, you brought refreshments.
I mean, it's not champagne.
Well, then I guess we don't need glasses.
Are you cold? Do you want to go home?
No. I'm beginning to think you might be right. I think this might be the spot after all. Augie, I'm sorry.
Shh. If we're very quiet, the fish might come.
Or not.
Or not.
What did I expect? What could I possibly have expected?
I
have to come in out of the rain, pouring on them, ruining the whole show. Well, good, fogging up their bifocals. Not they don't see anyway. Oh my, fetching color, delightful rhythm, amusing play of the various parts. A bit coarse, of course. What idiots. Well, I said there was no hope. The situation was clear from the beginning. It was a hopeless situation. What did I expect?
I'll be fine. Oh dear.
They're getting soaked.
Yes, they'll like that. That's something.
The people haven't got sense enough to come in out of the rain.
No, they're finished anyway. They finished the tall beardies before it started, so no damage done. They're on the arrows now.
Oh, damn the arrows. They shouldn't even be in the show.
No, not my thing, though. Interesting, I suppose, to those who find them interesting.
Too damn particular.
Yes, very fussy, I'm told.
Ship them back to Persia or wherever the hell they came from. They don't belong here.
I've had no first-hand experience with them. I'm sure they're very rewarding to those who find them very rewarding.
Look like shit anyway.
When I was leaving the house, and of course it was so early, I had this terrible feeling that I was missing something. Couldn't for the life of me. That's always so annoying. Then, of course, halfway here, in the middle of the parkway, I realized I'd forgotten my galoshes. I had to pull over. I can't think and drive. I remembered my raincoat. Of course, I was so nervous because this is my first time.
What are you talking about?
The show. So I didn't want to be late, so of course it did rain. I mean, I didn't go back, so of course I don't mind ruining my shoes so much, but I hope I don't come down with something. Of course, it's probably just nerves. It did rain very hard there for a moment.
I hope it ruins everything.
I come every year, but this is the first time I've had the nerve to show. Actually, the first time I thought I had something really very special. Vanity. Dear, dear.
You're a reader?
Yes, and you?
I thought you were a judge. You do have that judgy look.
Oh, I wouldn't presume.
You're first?
Yes, and never again. At least not for years. I haven't the strength. I should have known. Yours. Oh, well. Oh, dear, poor little darling, such a sweetheart. Never should have exposed her to the harsh light of reality. Oh, dear.
You might as well know I have no use for you or any of your kind.
I'm sorry?
Vulgar, disgusting, tasteless, showy, and useless in a garden. So expect no sympathy.
Then what are you doing here?
I have my pursuits. Thank you. I've been scoffed at before. I'm quite immune.
I understood you were a breeder, too.
I have my pursuits. Nothing you would understand. For your information, I was tickled pink when it started to rain. The spectacle of that huge, vulgar mess of a tall bearded that they had just awarded Best of Show falling right over flat in the mud. The moment they turned their backs, everyone running to stake it up. In 5 minutes, the whole damn lot of them were leaning and staggering like drunken sailors. No wind, mind you, just a spring shower. And my baby was standing up at attention just like a little soldier.
Which one is your little soldier?
I have my pursuits.
I really must say, I have no love for the tall beardeds. I'm an intermediate breeder. May I take it you're an intermediate breeder too?
I have my pursuits.
I'm so glad. I never really go to any of the meetings. I couldn't possibly. I get the quarterly, I pour over the quarterly. Which
Which one is your little soldier?
Never you mind, just never you mind. Slings and arrows. I came back to the tent because I thought there would be no one here. Everyone was acres away down at the other end. I expected to be here alone.
Yes, it did look very deserted.
Yes, it was, and then you came.
Yes. I simply couldn't any longer. I was trying to be brave, but I came all over with the feeling I was going to faint. I simply had to sit down. Little Tanya stood up to the rain at first. She just sparkled like dew, but I'm certain she was beginning to feel it. As soon as I looked around, I realized I'd been wrong to enter Big Judy. I told her I was sorry, but for little Tanya to be overlooked. I know, of course, she's frail, part of her charm for me. Oh, such vanity, never again.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I'm sorry, I thought...
Who are these women? I thought... Why are you telling me about them? I don't know anything about them. I don't know anyone. I know I wouldn't like them. I won't be alone here.
Oh no, they're my babies, of course. They're in the trial garden of the intermediate iris bed. But I thought little Tanya had a very good chance of attracting attention.
You named your iris Big Judy and Little Tanya?
Maybe you at least noticed Tanya. Many people seemed attracted to her, but alas, not. Oh dear.
I noticed nothing. I don't parade around oohing and awing, thank you. I guarded my entry. I put it past some of these folks. I saw their jealous eyes, their itchy fingers. I stood my ground.
Over your little soldier? I saw everything. I must say I thought some were very inferior. Others, frankly, I know what you mean, made me not jealous at all, but simply burn with envy. I do think the intermediates are just developing in leaps and such strong branching. What texture?
Branching? You know nothing of branching, nothing of texture.
It's just that it's something I've neglected horribly. Something I must take the time to work on.
Time? Oh, time. Try 30 years.
I'm sorry?
Of no other thought, day and night. Try perfection.
That's remarkable.
Ah, go tell it to the judge.
Oh dear. Oh, your little soldier wasn't overlooked.
I expected nothing.
Oh, I must say I was foolish enough to expect best of show.
I had no expectations.
Oh, I so hoped.
I had no hope. What did I expect? Another story of the unsung hero who celebrates their tiny joys, the doubling of chromosomes, the increase of bud count, the miracle of texture, perfectly round falls that stand out utterly horizontal in a hurricane, triple branching, and at 90 degrees, not 180. Who's ever seen it before? Who will care? Lost in the shuffle, taken for granted. What in the hell are you doing?
Oh, I have it here. Good blue? No. Bad yellow? Branching? Branching? Texture? Somewhere. Lovely white? No. Ah, you are J.H. Jocelyn, Carmel, New York, and your little soldier is entry number 3A-I-916.
What have you got there?
I take copious notes. Most outstanding falls, utterly round, horizontal, astonishing branching, holding flowers quite apart, remarkable texture of fall and standard, terribly unfortunate muddiness in, and so on and so on. I must say, Ms. Jocelyn, I'm very pleased to meet the breeder of that little soldier. I made special note of Carmel as I'm from Mahopac, which is a hop, skip, and a jump down the road.
Were I from Carmel, I certainly would know the whereabouts of a town so nearby and visibly disagreeable as Mahopac.
I must say, I can't believe your little soldier didn't at least receive a citation for extraordinary branching and texture. Why the branches are at angles to one another instead of directly across from. I must say, what dimension it gives the whole stuff. Like a candelabra. I've never seen it before.
Neither has anyone. Nor do they care, apparently.
And texture, like carved ivory. I actually reached to feel the thickness, quite inadvertently. I didn't even realize I'd done it. The way one instinctively smells a rose.
I know nothing of smelling roses. I have no use for them, or for what you call instinct, which of course is thoughtlessness.
I didn't feel it, however. Someone barked at me so fiercely I just moved on. I certainly took note. You're starred in my book, and there are only 4 or 5 entries that are starred.
One among 4, one among 5.
I'm sorry?
You know, I've seen you. I've seen you.
Oh, well, there you have the advantage. I'm afraid maybe it's unsocial, but at a flower show at least, I don't think I've seen people. I'm taking notes, moving on, admiring, getting so many ideas, that I think perhaps I don't look up. And then, of course, I find it so confusing to look at people. What if I should catch their eye? A perfect stranger? What would they think? And maybe it would be a judge thinking I was trying to influence him or her in some influential way.
At the Grand Union on Route 6.
I'm sorry?
Pawing the lettuce and teasing the kiwi fruit. It's only a bad habit, you know. It could be corrected with a little self-discipline.
I'm sorry?
Pinching, testing, squeezing, pawing. Some people think they're the only man on God's earth, mauling everything, trying to make it their own. How would you feel if you were the iris? How would you feel if you were the fruit?
I'm sorry?
It can be corrected.
You must admit the texture of your little soldier's folds invites the touch. It looks like it would feel of, I don't know, of velvet or chamois or ivory or something extraordinary.
Just never you mind, sir. You're not the only one, remember.
I'm sorry?
Reaching out their grubby paws to cop a feel. There were 50, if there was one. 2 judges, if you believe it, with their judgy little thumb and finger. I put them in their places. Don't think I didn't.
30 years. My goodness. I've been working that long, of course, but I would never presume. I wouldn't know where to begin. I breed for color, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, color. Oh, my goodness. Yappity yap, yappity yap. That's all I hear. Blue this and puce that. Ruby blue and pink reward.
Oh, when I first saw my first lily pink pot, I began to work the very next week.
Sing me no first lily pink pots, thank you. It's all I hear. One has enough to contend with without your lily pink pots.
I was quite inspired by her. I saw a whole clump blooming at Presby Gardens before she won the Sass Award, and I must say I was bowled over by her.
Sing me no Sass Awards, read me no bowled overs. I've no use for it at all.
Your world, of course, is of quite a different order.
I have my pursuits.
You wouldn't see it, I quite realize.
There's one today, hardly to be overlooked. Tangerine, maybe, orange, maybe. I have eyes, striking color, but then what? I went over to it. One could hardly fail to see it. But on close inspection, the hypocrisy. Flimsy wouldn't begin. Insubstantial. Wilting falls, lying practically flat. Standard so tissue thin, I'm surprised the first drop of rain didn't run right through them. Oh, one branch, mind you. And it was hardly held up even this anemic, cobwebby pissant of a, and God knows the bud count, probably not even 2. Nothing so wispy could support more. And a crowd oohing and awing over this feeble, debilitated, sapless, pithless, impotent, lustless, flaccid, feckless,
Madam!
limp, wishy-washy, insipid.
Madam, you are speaking of my child!
I beg your pardon.
You are speaking of little Tanya. Though she may not be to your liking, many people were very admiring. Several times when I drew close enough to hear their remarks, several people were wondering if the breeder was at the show. Many were struck. I think I've injured my voice. I'm sorry. I don't know what I could be thinking. I've never spoken like that before to anyone. Once to a very, very truculent raspberry. Never to a certainly not a lady. It's the strain of the occasion. I've not been myself all day. I shouldn't be around people. They make me terribly. And the agony of competition is a human. Oh, dear.
That vapidity is little Tanya?
Yes.
That whisper?
Please, I know she isn't to your taste.
I say nothing of my taste.
I realize you're working in quite a different field,
Just never you mind.
but you must understand another choosing to endeavor in an endeavor of another choosing.
I say nothing of my understanding.
That orange has been the achievement of 30 years, and I can't help the vanity of being somewhat vain about achieving it. You understand, failings apart, it is a remarkable orange.
It is a very good color, as colors come and go.
No rose has an orange like it.
I know nothing of roses.
Well, I can tell you, any orange rose is impossible to use with anything. Little Tanya is the only orange I've seen, and many people remarked on it, that mixes. She's a mixer. She looks charming with other oranges, with lemons, with peaches, with red, with lavender and blue. She blends. People would want her. Many said so. They can use her. She's a blender.
I care nothing about what people can use.
Well, you should. Many people were remarking about your little soldier. You surely heard them.
Yammerings of the crowd.
But it can't be used in a... What I mean to say is, it's absolutely nothing could... Well, exactly what color would you call it? I mean, it isn't a light yellow, it isn't buff, it isn't green. I was at a loss to make out what...
I can see it's quite impossible that you'll ever leave here. Some people are like that. It's a lack of respect for another's privacy. It's a bad habit, of course. It could be worked on. Oh, I see the rain has let up. I'll remove myself and allow you doubtless to find another victim.
I know you. How extraordinary. I don't know anyone. I've seen you.
See me, none of your scenes.
You're a teacher.
I am not. I beg your pardon.
You most certainly are.
I am not. I know what I am.
You teach.
I do not.
Last year you taught.
I did not.
You came to the gate.
I came to no gate of yours, you can be sure. I peer through no gates, thank you.
You came just inside, and there you stood, looking just as you do now.
I did not. I come in gates only where I'm invited in. And I'm invited in only where I ask to be, and I did not ask, thank you.
You came to Castle Crampton Gardens. I saw you at the gate. Believe me, I certainly didn't intend to see you. I don't see any of them. They sometimes see me. It can't be helped. They ask their questions. They talk and talk on and on. Some of them, it's all very... And the children pour in on their field trips. You were a chaperone to one of the children's classes.
I beg your pardon. I have no class.
And in they poured, and there you stood, just inside the gate.
In the line of one's employment, one is sometimes called upon, quite against one's will, to fulfill the place of those who are irresponsible enough to become ill.
I would never insist, of course. You know where you did and didn't go. I must say, I don't at all feel comfortable around children. They don't seem to watch where they're going. They tend to step on me. But if you're the principal and went along in place of one of the...
I am certainly not a principal.
Or an assistant principal with the duty of replacing
I am
some...
certainly no assistant principal.
Or the librarian, and we're asked to fill in for...
I am not a librarian for any of your...
Or the assistant librarian.
I have my pursuits. You, of course, might be interested in the likes of Castle Crampton Gardens. I assure you I would not be.
Oh my goodness, no.
I disdain to step 1 foot inside such a place. Oh, one look is all I needed to understand the whole of Castle Crampton Gardens completely. Tacky little bedded out beds looking as though they belonged at the front of a gas station.
Oh my goodness.
Municipal gardening indeed. Worse here than abroad, if you can believe it. And Crampton worst of all.
Oh, yes.
I know the philosophy. Rows of wax begonias. Never was a plant so aptly named. Your cup of tea? Well, you can have it. No doubt little Tanya would blend in well.
Oh dear, no. I'm afraid even Tanya couldn't save the place.
All your geometrical beds, squares and circles and triangles. Yellow marigolds, surrounded by a cunning little ring of blue ageratum houstonianum, surrounded by a nice contrasting lipstick red of maybe Salvia splendens harbinger. Castle Crampton spelled out in maybe petunias and lobelia. They might as well use spray paint.
Yes. Yes.
Tulips by the hundreds, I'm sure, in the spring.
By the thousands. I plant them, they buy them by the truckloads, ripped out the day they're shot and replaced by marigolds. Not even stock.
You plant them? You? Not just an innocent tourist, but you are responsible for that mess?
Oh, Lord. No. Responsible? Never. I wouldn't presume. I wouldn't make a decision myself. What if someone saw it? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I know you, and you don't know me. What am I thinking? I'm not in the habit of meeting. Allow me to introduce Miss Jade Jocelyn. This is Mr. Kermit Wasserman. Mr. Wasserman, Miss Jocelyn. How do you do? It is my misfortune to be one of the assistant gardeners at Castle Crampton.
How do you do? I was just going.
Oh my, yes, I'm afraid you'd better, because if you're going to be wicked about Crampton, I couldn't tear myself away. And I shouldn't hear it. My own garden, of course, very small, is a cottagey, Englishy sort of thing. Very modest, but enough for me and my iris. And yours?
See me, know yours is. My garden is my garden. Certainly not Englishy, cottagey. I farm. I don't decorate. I breed. I grow eggplant and squash and kale and kohlrabi. And I breed intermediate iris for strength and substance. I'm none of your watercolorists.
You're not by any chance colorblind.
I beg your pardon.
I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what came over me. It's just that one who has created such a lovely texture and, as you say, substance and neglected so completely.
There's no reason for me to stay. What did I expect? I don't know how some people call themselves scientists.
Miss Jocelyn, I may be vain. I may have expected too much, but you cannot...
How could you have overlooked so basic a thing as stock?
I could say the same for you, you know, were I the sort
The
of...
color may be striking, but there's nothing under it.
You have created a castle without a flag.
I care for more than flashy headgear, thank you.
And you might as well be breeding galoshes.
I am a great breeder, sir.
And so am I.
I've toiled in the fields, sir, for 30 years.
And so have I.
And you've nothing to show for it.
No one wants your little soldier.
No one needs your little Tanya.
If my Tanya had the texture of your little soldier...
If my soldier had the color of Tanya...
That would be something. In 4 years, maybe 6 at the outside. Can you see it?
Just never you mind. I see what I see.
I've never seen anything like it.
There's never been anything like it.
Not to push, and I don't think it's vanity, but best of show would be in the bag.
In a jerkwater show like this, I wouldn't waste our time.
The Sass Award is not at all out of the question.
Sing me no Sass Awards. We're talking about the cover of the Royal Horticultural Society Garden Magazine.
You had better be listed as breeder. I wouldn't be able to tolerate the limelight. Fame has always...
Oh, sing me no limelight, read me no fame. We're talking fortune.
Indeed, not to be crass, but
Thousands, tons of thousands.
a better income, I would think, than assisting at a school library.
Oh, fuck the school library.
Oh, indeed.
How are her rhizomes?
Actually, now that you ask, very strong indeed, really quite remarkable.
Oh, are they?
And his?
Well, adequate, certainly. Well, perhaps not absolutely the,
Only that?
well, I've probably seen better increase.
Tanya increases like a weed.
Ooh, does she? Ooh, the little devil.
His seed pod?
Oh, marvelous, of course, with all that upper strength, unfailing.
I thought so. I must tell you, Tanya has been known to disappoint me there.
Well, she's terribly delicate. It would be so uncaring to expect.
Well, I'm afraid, though, we'd much better have your little soldier as the seed parent.
Absolutely. He won't mind playing the girl, not for little Tanya of the golden hair. I assume the bud count actually...
Oh, yes, 2. And she has been known to have 2 branches.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. That might make it much easier. Though we do have to get some strength in her, some starch. Strengthen those limbs. Not stout, mind you, just strong. He'll do wonders for that.
And as for color, I'm glad to say there, Tanya is very dominant.
Oh, the little vixen. He's not very sure of himself there, I'm glad to say.
Oh, she'll take care of him nicely.
My.
I must say.
So convenient that you live so close.
Isn't it?
Lovely Mahopac. You understand? I think this should be exclusive. I don't want to see her pussyfooting around.
Madam, you overreach yourself. Tanya's fidelity, I assure you, is irreproachable. You had much better be concerned about your little soldier.
You have his word.
Well, one hears stories.
You agree to begin with my seed bed? I make my own soil, pure compost and a good grade of builder's sand.
That's quite fine by me. You won't mind if I visit the site first, just to...
Oh, by all means, I think we should maybe begin first thing in the morning. I'll drive over to your place.
Oh, excellent, excellent. We can collect your lovely pollen at the crack of dawn.
Well, I have this divine set of single brushes. Never been touched. So exorbitant, but I just couldn't help myself.
How impulsive.
Oh, I know. I've been waiting for the right occasion. I knew it would come.
Intuition. I don't expect to sleep awake.
Nor I.
Well, I must say, They're all drifting back. The judging must be over. Ah, if they only knew.
Oh, look at them. Do you watch the presentation of the ribbons and all their giggling little squeals when they win?
Not usually, I'm afraid. Crowds, you know, with nothing to look at. Except people, of course. But perhaps this year, just to see how it's done. Just to get into practice.
Might as well get in the habit of being notable. I say, Mr. Wasserman, you're looking like a championship breeder.
And you, Miss Jocelyn.
Ah, the sun's come out. And look whose golden hair is flashing in the light. Why, she must be 100 yards away.
She has reason to be excited tonight.
Oh,
I think you're blushing.
So are you.
Well, let us sit here then and wait for the onslaught of the unsuspecting crowd.
I must say, it has been a very good show this year.
It's so frustrating, Henry. It's like he doesn't hear me. He doesn't care what I'm going through. Every night, I wake up hot, sweating. I throw off the covers, and then I'm cold. It chills, so I cover up. Over and over, all night. I hate it that Bob sleeps right through my suffering. I hate his sleeping. Last night I was so mad that I woke him up. I did. I poked him until he woke up. Yes, I know that was bad. I knew he had an early meeting. I guess I was hoping he'd be mad too, so we could have a really good argument. But no, he had the nerve to suggest that we make love. When I'm hot and cold and drenched in sweat, he said he doesn't care if I'm sweaty. Just shows I'm nothing but a sex object to him. He'd have sex with a sweaty fence post.
Is she gone, Henry? Aerobics? Yoga? Book club? How the hell does she find so many ways to avoid me? She's turned into somebody, I don't know. She talks about plastic surgery. She thinks her chin is dropped and it makes her nose too high. I swear, Henry, her nose is right where it always was. And that's not all. She was talking about the leg extension procedure that Japanese women do to become taller. She wants to be tall and skinny like those bony anorexic models. Who wants to cuddle up to a skeleton? If we still cuddled. Then I wanted to have sex last night. Been a long time. I wanted to. I wanted her. She said, I'm feeling fat. Tell me, Henry, what does feeling fat have to do with sex? So I said, Linda, I love your body. Do you know what she said, Henry? She said, you're objectifying me again. I'm not an object. I'm me. What does that mean? Objectifying? Then she said I ought to be more differentiated. Goddamn feminist gobbledygook. I just can't please that woman.
Maybe things would be different if I were slender. Skinny bitches can get away with things like being sweaty. Skinny bitches like my aunt or second cousin, whatever she is out in Hollywood. She was a child star, played 12-year-olds until she was 28. She's too rich to get sweaty. Skinny bitches like her can even have their roots show. Hair grows, roots show.
I told her I like a woman with some heft on her.
Yeah.
Wrong. I learned that heft is a dirty word. The whole point about a woman is softness and curves. In the right places, of course. Even now, Linda has her curves in the right places. She's not fat. I know better than to use that word. She looks great in clothes, without clothes too. But she doesn't think so. She's taken to dressing in the closet, for God's sake.
If I didn't feel so fat and ugly and have this hot and cold thing all the time, I'd have an affair. It'd serve him right. Of course, I'd have to find someone who is blind with a temperature deficit. No, I need someone who will make me feel attractive, who is passionate about me, not just my female anatomy. Is it a sin, Henry, to think about having an affair? Is it a sin? A mortal or venial sin? Which one? Just to think about it. I don't think so. I hope not. I think about it all the time.
And veins! Damn, did I tell you about that big flap? She noticed a new varicose vein the other day and actually started crying. I'd seen an ad, so I bought her some vitamin K cream. Supposed to do something or other to veins. She threw it at me, screaming, "What are you telling me? You're repulsed by varicose veins? You hate my body?" God knows I just wanted to help. I'm a man of action, Henry. When I see a problem, I gotta fix it. I feel so helpless.
Bob is going gray. I don't care. It doesn't make him less attractive. 50-ish men become dignified. We women just get ugly. I hate ugly.
Yesterday, I told her she looked great in whatever she was wearing. She said, "Don't lie to me. I can tell when you're lying."
One of the things I love about you, Henry, is that I can trust you. You will never repeat anything I say to you about Bob. I can count on that. Uh-oh, he's home. We'll just pretend we didn't have this little chat.
Thanks for listening, Henry. You're the only one I can tell all this to. And I feel better already. Henry, sit. Come on, Henry, let's go take a walk.
I won it in a Dusseldorf crap game. 900 American dollars. Me, I got my leave and I took off.
I went to the beach that day, threw baseballs at bottles and shot wooden ducks, and won a bunny rabbit. With the rabbit came a meal ticket at a country cafe, so I went there too.
It was the year I entered the Sorbonne. I studied so hard I won a prize, and my grandmama tripled it. So I had that summer 2,000 francs all my own.
The beach had chain swings, a loudspeaker played can-can music, and a shooting gallery with wooden ducks. I shot ducks and won a prize. It was a bunny rabbit, so I took it with me to work at the cafe.
I tried Copenhagen first and I caught cold. Went to London, I couldn't relax. Tried Paris and all that brandy made me sick. So I said, oh hell, I want to go to the beach. So I took the Mistral to the Riviera.
I always knew what I would do with my life. Never marry, be a scientist, swim every day for my art, and have friends like Prokofiev for my soul. So, I went to Avignon to visit my mama, swim, hear concerts, and see plays at the Palace of Popes.
Frenchie's Paris French Fry, this place was called. I had the catch of the day. The woman waiting on me saw my bunny rabbit and said, "Win that at the fair?" And I looked up, saying, "Yes," and felt, oh, I don't know, a little funny. She was so homely and countrified.
All by herself she was, sitting there like a doll in a shop with that rabbit on her table. I took her order and said something, and I saw she had a line of sweat above her lip like a mustache. Then she smiled at me, and I smiled back.
A buddy in K Company told me to go see Avignon. Said the countryside looks like a French painting. So I sat down in the square and had a citron pressé.
I always liked Americans. My friends did not, but I did. And that soldier, that day in the square at Avignon, I liked him especially.
I came back to Frenchie's fish fry the next day, and I saw her again, all hard work and business. And I said, "Hello, remember me?"
You want a rabbit, I said. So did I. Yes, I remembered you.
She looked like a Massachusetts tomboy, wearing a U.S. lumberjack shirt, flaps out over her blue jeans, but she was French all right. A little formal, my God, intelligent.
He was very agreeable. He didn't talk much, but when he did, he had good taste. He didn't know it, but he did.
I went back every day, and every day she waited on me, and I blushed all the way up through the roots of my hair.
She was just a baby, thinking I was a game she wanted to play, but I saw different. And most near dropped the fried fish on the floor.
She asked me would I come swimming with her and her friends in a river, at the river under a Roman bridge. She was a student at the honest-to-God Sorbonne, studying the marine biology, the sea, she said, the sea.
So we swam with the others under a Roman bridge. And when he saw me in my bikini, he was no longer interested in the others.
And what I meant to say was, I want you to touch me. I just do. I don't know why. I was 18 years old.
It's her mama, I said to myself. She don't have one. Poor child. But she said no, she had a mama. That's not what she wanted at all.
We drank brandy that night under a bridge built by soldiers, centuries ago. And we talked. Oh, soberly and sensibly.
When he took me home, I shook hands with him like a man and said it had been a pleasure. And what was he doing tomorrow?
All her teeth seemed broken. Lines cut everywhere into her face. There were scars on her arms, on the side of her throat. Deep shadows made her eyes look hard. When I asked her why she looked like that,
I told her my life was like that. She was a child. And was she coming back tomorrow?
And the next day, my soldier watched me wave goodbye to my mama, getting on a train for Venice to visit my grandmama. And when it moved, he was there too. And then zoot, we ran through the cars like fools in a film. And then there I was with my soldier. Never mind my grandmama.
Pale she was, with splotches of crimson high on her cheeks, like a painting my K-Company buddy said I ought to see. She said she was a descendant of a French aristocrat who was a field marshal in Napoleon. I said, sure, that's why you like soldiers.
I never let her drive me home or see where I lived. Well, we'd sit on the beach some when I got off work and commence jabbering then, one with the other, and a body couldn't stop.
I can talk to you. I can talk to you like to no one else ever. Why is that? I'm not a little country club fool anymore, not with you. Why is that?
It was my sister who was beautiful, not me. That was the way our mama always knew it would be. One with the beauty, and one with the brains. But my soldier, he told me mama was wrong, that I had both. And I did. For him, I did.
I got her off the train in Nice, where it was all marble and the sunlight dazzling, hectic, like the way that GI felt.
He took me to Nice, to the Bataille de Fleurs, where he would beat me with flowers. I knew he had good taste.
And big floats with beautiful French-Italian girls and big strong men beating each other with tulips.
People passing each other in the night, singing and throwing confetti in your face, if they liked what they saw. He got us the last hotel room in Nice.
There ain't nothing you can't say to me if you want.
I know that. It's like in church, in the choir, when I feel wonderful, when great feelings rise up inside me. Can you understand that? The singing, all of us together. And she said,
I sing like that too, honey. Sometimes, but just not in church.
Hotel de Anglais, for God's sake. Blood red wallpaper with paintings of roses big as cabbages.
He tore roses off the floats and brought them to me piled high in his arms.
I tore roses all to pieces on the rug, on the bed, in a big bathtub, which we jumped in, and I asked her,
are you here with me?
You are my first man. I planned my life, and I picked you for that. For as long as I live, I will never be able to forget you. Now pass me the soap and kiss me.
Then on a Sunday, when I stood up to sing my solo, Only a Rose Will Do, I saw somebody come in at the back of the church. And oh God, there she was, in that congregation with her black teeth, watching me.
In that spotless place, with the roses and the lilies smelling so sweet, and all that perfume and fur pieces. Well, I paid it no mind. You commenced to sing, and you were my flower then, my rose, my own.
And I kissed her all right. And the next night we sailed into the sea she studied it at night on a night boat to Corsica. A place that I've never heard of and she'd never been.
Where we lived ensemble for a month, in little hotels on the beaches.
Under the Corsican sun, among the palm trees.
And the flies, and the bad wine.
Beautiful cleansing sunsets and winds.
And 3 months later, after my wedding, I stood there a bride, scatterbrained in taffeta and lace, thinking nothing in the world but her. And God Almighty, there she came.
Scared, not meaning to trouble her, not mad or anything, just having to come. Not able to help myself, not right then.
In a cheap flower print dress, with a pink hat, preposterous, absurd, with dime store white gloves and all her scars and broken teeth.
The boy you'd married was fixing to dance with you, so I did it proper as I know how. I handed you a bottle of whiskey for your wedding night, and a silver spoon for your baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you like some champagne?
No, I best go. You was just scared about getting married. That was why you done what you done to me, wasn't it, honey? No need, honey. He looks like a fine young man.
Can I get you some cake?
No. I just want to shake your hands and get with your husband and kiss you and go.
Some coffee, then.
And I did that, and I left her, and I didn't know where I was, not for the longest time.
Come on. I'll race you back. You can do better than that.
All right.
Are you okay?
I'm all right. I just need a moment. I'm all right now. I can't go that fast.
But you weren't running or anything.
No.
Was it like time of the month? You got like cramps or something?
No.
What's the matter?
On dit maladie de corps. Tu comprends?
Heart trouble?
Oui, yes. Heart trouble. In my family. Very spectacular. We lived passionate youths, performed miracles, and then our hearts turned to rubber. We say we wore them out for the great Napoleon. Flap, 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 flap. I will have surgery soon. They say I'm not so bad as my father was at this age, so.
And he's dead, your father?
At 41. But his father at 38 before him. So you see, I will live a long, long time.
Really? Is that the truth?
Oui. Why not?
Who was that? Said my groom, laughing. And the hotel orchestra played, and I was swept out onto the ballroom dance floor, away from my mother and my father and my life as a child, to my husband and my children. And the day I had to see you again.
Honey, are you sure?
Yes.
Best not.
We must. I'll die.
It'll hurt. You think you know, but you don't.
I won't live. Please.
What kind of surgery?
Oh, Bernard, le dernier cri.
It's dangerous.
Bien sûr. They take a knife and go whoop and pull it out and say, ah, voila, Monsieur Lacour, ha ha ha. And they do this and that to it. And... Yes, dangerous. Are you for me?
Oh shit, honey.
Hey, play mom. Oh shit, Danny.
Well, I mean, what they do now? They do almost anything now, right?
Almost.
So you got a good doctor
The best.
in the hospital.
Biggest.
Well, great.
So, be my booty.
You're what?
You know, like Americans. I like how you call each other like, hey, booty, like that.
Buddy.
Buddy. Remember your old buddy.
And that's what we did. On beach blankets, in the back seats of cars, through 12 years of motel rooms, married to Walter Richards, and loving you.
We can stop.
No, never. We can never stop.
You said goodbye in a train station in Marseille. Flippant, cheerful. Until you saw the train.
You came in the motel room without knocking.
I was going to be a scientist. I was going to have friends like Prokofiev. But when I saw that awful train, zoot, tears.
I couldn't come no sooner.
God, this is hard. I can't get my breath.
You're going to leave me.
It's hard to breathe. Yes. I'll never see you again.
I got to go. It's time.
You can't.
was
I
so
won't
happy with
let
you.
you.
I'll never see you again.
I won't let you.
Hush now. Hush now.
Will we live?
I will leave my husband. I will leave my children.
I think so. I'm not sure.
You know you can't. I won't let you.
You won't forgive me.
I will live on the floor at your feet. I can't love anybody else.
No, buddy. I won't forget you. I can't.
You've got to accept it for me.
All right. For you. Goodbye.
My first man. Goodbye.
My little girl. Goodbye.
It was wonderful. You were wonderful.
For you, I accept. I don't care how it hurts.
I'd do it all again.
I don't care neither. I'm glad too.
You're the best. It's the best thing that
Best
ever happened.
thing that ever happened
Best
to me.
thing. The
Best
very
thing.
Best thing that ever happened
It was
to me.
wonderful.
Please.
Wonderful.
I'll never
God
forget
bless
you.
you.
I
Goodbye.
promise.
I will never
I can't
forget
forget
you.
Goodbye.
My
Goodbye.
first man. My perfect man. Goodbye.